I'd like to call the meeting to order. The April 21st, 2026 meeting of the Canandaigua Zoning Board of Appeals. We'll begin the meeting with the pledge allegiance to the flag and then a moment of silence for our troop.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first I'd like to go through the review of our protocol for our meetings. When a variance request is coming before us, the applicant will present the request for the variance and the reasons why they are necessary. The board can then question the applicant. After the board and applicant are comfortable with the information presented, the floor is open to the audience in the meeting room and also online. All questions are to be directed to the board and not to the applicant. Each person must limit comments to duration of 5 minutes or less. When the applicant and board are comfortable with all necessary information that's been presented, the public hearing will be closed. It can be carried over to the next meeting if further information is needed. The ZBA has 62 days to consider and vote on the application. It is usually done the same night. Okay. First one, we have Valerie and Kurt Knobloch, 5,000 Butler Road. This is a request for a rear setback variance of 18 feet, where 40 feet is required and 22 feet is proposed in the R120 district.
We'll come up together.
Sure.
Good evening, Chairman, Dr. Saylor, and members of the board. My name is Valerie Knobloch. My husband Kurt and I live at 5,000 Butler Road. We're here to follow up on our application, which requests a rear setback variance to allow for the addition of an attached third bay to our existing garage. Kurt and I have lived on Butler Road in the town since 1982. Tonight, I wanted to provide you with a brief background as a context for our application and understanding of the transitions we have made and we've seen on Butler Road and Fox Ridge since that time. We've reached out to our neighbors all around us about our plans and had positive and clarifying conversations with 4 of our Butler Road neighbors. We did not hear directly from anyone at the Fox Ridge development. We are aware of the letter you received from Eve and Denver Lannon dated April 17th that expressed their opinion that our garage bay addition would, quote, cause more disruption of the ecosystem, protected habitat, and wildlife corridor, as well as losing our suburban feel, end quote. Our original home was built at Butler Road, 5004 Butler Road, excuse me. We bought the adjacent vacant lot at 5,000 Butler Road in 1995. It was not a 1.9 acre plot, and it was not part of Fox Ridge development. In fact, Fox Ridge was not a development at that time. In 2016, we decided to remain on Butler Road and we built our age-in-place home. That's when we became aware that the folks who had bought within the Fox Ridge development had been told that the land behind them, our land, was forever wild. It's unfortunate that this is what the Fox Ridge homeowners were told. I agree they were misled, but not by us, but by someone who did not make it clear that Butler Road properties were not part of the Fox Ridge development constrictions. We needed no variances at the time we built our home. We cleared the minimum amount of land to place our home within the restrictions of the lot and the building code. There are no protected habitats there, nor any official wildlife corridor to this day. Tonight, Kurt will share our intent on not disrupting the ecosystem with a thoughtful placement of this garage bay. We felt it necessary to clarify and correct some of the statements within the Lannon's letter as they pertain to our site and its changes over the years. For the record, we have not cleared 1.9 acres of land. We are not planning on increasing our activity or noise from our equipment. And in fact, we want to make it aesthetically more appealing by moving these items inside. And finally, we are not disrupting the ecosystem with this triangular area variance. We want to reassure you and all our neighbors that we have been careful and conscientious stewards of our Butler Road homes and land. And Kurt will address the specifics of the application.
Evening. The proposed addition measures approximately 26 by 40 feet, or about 992 square feet in total. A portion of this, about 390 square feet in the shape of a triangle, extends into the required rear setback of the existing site constraints. These constraints include the current location of our home and attached garage bays, the configuration of our lot, and the presence of the fixed underground utility infrastructure that cannot be relocated. The addition is designed to match our existing home architecturally and will remain consistent with the residential character of the Butler Road neighborhood. Our home is located several hundred feet from the road and remains buffered from the adjacent properties by distance and wooded areas. The project will not create a visual, environmental, or neighborhood impacts. We note in our response to question number 1 of the application that there is no new use or activity that's going to be introduced. We want to reassure you that there will not be an increase in activity or noise from the equipment that is stored in the new bay. In summary, our area variance request represents a minimum relief necessary to allow a reasonable residential improvement while maintaining compliance with the intent of the zoning regulations. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Questions?
So show me, all right, so you bought the parcel, you said, where was the parcel that you bought, purchased, which side?
We bought the whole lot in 1995.
Right, but did you say you bought an additional one, another lot, or, I'm sorry, I guess I'm.
So our original home was built at 5004 Butler Road
Right,
in 1982.
okay,
In 1995, we bought the vacant lot next to us, which was addressed
Okay.
5000 Butler Road.
thank you.
So it's the same, yeah, there we go. It's the same lot we've had.
Okay, I was trying to figure out how that,
The two are not together.
The two are not together. They're
Right.
separate.
We just.
okay,
For 30 years.
So you just own the lot.
Right,
Okay.
we moved to our own backyard, right?
It's been a fun moving day.
yeah, all
All the
right.
way up to the street.
It was interesting.
Still can't find stuff.
I'm just looking at, there doesn't really appear to be another place you could put that extra. You know, accessory storage building.
Can't put it on the side of the house.
The other side,
Yeah.
we would impact, we'd come up against the stream, as well as naturally our whole infrastructure for the existing bays are on the other side of the garage.
Not a flat lot.
No, it's a sloped lot down toward the stream.
Where does the stream run?
The stream is,
Blue.
yeah, it's right through there.
Where does it empty out to?
It goes to the lake, crosses underneath Butler Road, right here. And then winds its way down. It also crosses at the upper side of Butler Road. A nice little feature.
So putting a separate storage building in front of the house would be bringing it too close to the stream too.
And that's the house faces. This way. That's the front. This is all upstairs and basement level windows down there. And land slopes off to this way, off to the.
Septic system is where?
Septic system runs
Okay.
in
Can't put
and
anything on
into the
that.
bottom section. Water goes to the middle.
It's a town sewer.
Oh, town sewer, okay.
Connected to the town sewer.
Yeah, we're on the sewer,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the sewer.
I'm envious.
And electric and
Right.
communication runs
Right.
that side of the house.
Okay.
So the addition is right where the cursor is right there,
Yes.
is that what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yes,
We have another.
Right here.
Can we
Then we
just
have
pull
another-
the script down just a little bit so I can see what's
We have
behind it?
another
There.
site plan, I think, which shows.
Thank you.
Where the
And the lot is right here.
Right.
back, how the back corner is
That's a unique area.
near 40.
It's a ginger.
Which one do you want?
The one that has,
That one.
Thank you.
actually another one where the area variance area is.
Like a
This
real
color,
one,
yeah.
you mean, or?
Oh, this one, right below that, that one,
Yeah,
go down.
there it is.
Mm.
That's nice. I was out there and you really are kind of limited by the property contours and the woods and.
You know, look weird moving it up a little bit. I mean, you could, maybe doing to try to get away from that setback, but like an angle, but I don't know how. That would still require a variance anyway, right?
That's right.
That would still require a variance anyway.
Would a smaller garage be acceptable? The one car instead of the four or three cars instead of the four car?
With the other equipment that we'd like to put in there and store, including a utility trailer, small utility tractor, a garden, lawn mowing tractor, as well as in the wintertime, our furniture that we use outside, we really would like to put away and preserve. It would make it tight.
Several of those things are out now.
yes, so they are out now, yes.
Right.
And you couldn't put any of those things in like the shed that's in the back
They don't fit in there.
or expand the shed in the back. I was just throwing ideas out there.
Yes. Yeah, your thought processes are what we've gone through,
Yeah.
we've tried to think about all those scenarios. Which brought us to this date saying.
John or Dave?
There's no complaints from neighbors behind you, correct?
Well, just the letter that we know that you received.
I didn't see it in there. Did I miss it
What's
somehow?
There,
Okay.
this morning here.
Oh, okay, I did see that.
Is there anything from the ECB on this? On
Yeah, the DEC I did see that they
nothing
determined.
on the ECB though, I'm just wondering what the
You're
town.
not part of the Fox Ridge HOA, are you?
We are not.
We're not part of that.
That's been some of the misunderstanding.
Okay.
So basically where you see that trailer park is where the building would be. Is that, yeah. And you're right, Kelly, that the electrical runs in there, so it's hard to push it out because then you're
Right.
running into the electrical. Underground electrical.
Gotcha.
I think, can we have a picture of what it would look like? Somewhere there.
I'm sorry.
There's a picture of what it would look like.
All the way down.
Behind it,
Down.
it's some
Yeah.
heating.
No, I'm just, that's like.
Hopefully without all that snow in the future.
Right, well, yeah, well, it's something else. I was gonna say,
John?
anybody else?
Nothing for me in public.
You satisfied with what you presented?
Yes.
Are there any comments or questions from
Okay.
audience here or?
Sure, come on up to the podium and state your name.
We're the Lannons,
Okay,
and of course, she explained, when we moved in,
Mhm.
we were explicitly told that it's forever wild from there over to the other end. In that time, then we found out that it wasn't when they were building.
okay.
And of course, myself and another neighbor, Vito, was moved around. I don't know whether he came to this meeting or if it was ever came to that meeting. But, and now this, plus the other lot next to them, he's pretty much clear cut that almost to my line. You know, which means nothing. We see pretty much every part of their house right now. You know, along with the outbuilding and the porch and everything else. And they may see that from ours, but that's what we moved in. We were gonna have to live with that. I'd like to do everything they want to do. I have to pull my cars out of my garage in order to get my tractor out for my lawn. I have to pull it out to get the snow blower. I have to pull it out to do everything else. They don't want to do that. I can understand it, but and it's their prerogative to mow down all the trees they want. They're not up forever wild. But of course, looking at the drawing, they're looking at a 26 by 40. That gives them a 4-car garage. That, assuming that they got single car garage other than that. You know, if nothing else, you know, we'd have to do with smaller or none at all. You know, and we are part of Fox Ridge. I realized we came in after they bought their house on the main road, but they didn't start building the one in the back road until we were there. So, you know, that's one of our main complaints. What else did you?
I guess it was just, is there another, the one at the end, which is 940 square feet, is over a 2-car garage size. So could it be smaller, so it doesn't infringe on that property, or?
Not as much.
Or, you know, so it doesn't, you don't have to do the variance, or maybe behind it, like behind the other two going through, I don't know. If there's a space, looked like there's space behind the 2 garages that are there, but, you know, I don't know, like you say, the electrical and all that.
Yeah, it was close to the line too.
So I just didn't, I guess the bottom line is it possible to make it a little bit, so you don't have to go into the variance?
As much, you know, if that, I mean, it's right now, when they're gonna have to take down a few trees, right now, we can see their house even with the trees up and all green. In the wintertime, we can see everything. Okay, so it's just a visual, you know, we're seeing the back of their house, they're seeing the back of our house. But, you know, just getting back to the size of it, you know, as far as the water and everything else in the woods, I don't know, that's probably always there. It probably a lot comes from the lot across from us on the main road. You know, when it was all weeds and everything, our lot would get dry and it would be dry back there. Now that they cleared it all over and put grass in it, I won't get on my lawn for probably another month with my tractor.
Could you show me where your lot is relative to this?
We're lot
Behind
number
it.
152.
Like up the hill.
Okay.
152.
Oh, that's our
498 together.
Yep, so that's us. So when it comes out, it's gonna come.
Towards your property.
Pardon?
Towards your property.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a, so it'll be coming into that corner. The 40.
And right now that's wooded in there between the.
It's wooded. That's probably one of the thinner parts of the wooded part.
Okay.
Of course, it's more open for them too on the other side with the other neighbor when he clear cut. He's pushed all the old trees up against my line, but you know, it's the animals like it. So, but I don't understand why we're out forever wild when they're mowing down everything on the other side. You're gonna end up with about 20 feet of wild property everywhere. But getting back to this problem, you know, that's our main concern. Is that
Yeah, maybe just shrinking it.
it's, you know,
Not.
4-car garages, so that's pretty good. And I know that I could put a tractor in my one side of mine, a tractor and he's got a smaller tractor and snow blower and this, that, and the other thing, but you know, they aren't putting cars in it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else at home? Anybody on the board? Any further comments? Okay. Go to public hearing. Close the public hearing. We have 62 days to vote on it. Your name will vote on it tonight. Okay. Next one is Mark's Engineering. This is an interpretation of the ZBA. Applicant is appealing a determination made by the town CEO regarding the pre-existing non-conforming status of a boathouse. Please state your name.
Yeah, good evening, Brennan Marks Engineering, here with the property owner, Anastasia. Tonight here, we're here to discuss a boathouse located on the property of 5057 County Road 16. That's the existing site plan there. You could probably leave it at that. There you go. Yeah, that works. So the 5057 is the house furthest to the left of the screen. It is, I can point to it. This is 5057. The discussion is about around an existing boathouse located here. We're not clear whether the boathouse is actually constructed, although it's quite old. So in somewhere around 2011, property was purchased by my client, and in 2020, approximately, the boathouse structure failed, causing it to collapse. I don't know if you have those pictures there. You can probably bring that up. It'll be in the pre-existing non-conformity document.
What I do is scroll up. You go to the start.
That right there.
That one, just above.
Nope. Yeah, there you go. If you scroll down on this, this is the boathouse structure here. It's coming down. And this is it, 2020. You can see there's a picture, there's a side view of it. There's a better picture from the end that's taken from the lake. It's a little less granular. See if you scroll down. Oh, okay. Well, that's it. Well, there.
In the next document.
Okay, this is fine. This works. So as you can see in 2020, this is the condition of the structure. There's a pier in the north corner, the northeast corner that failed, causing the building to rack, fall down. There actually is a built boat still in the building. Just also to give us some background, this torch image here is the stair structure that comes down from the 5057 house. It actually lands on the top of the boathouse structure and then continues down from there. So it's an integral part to the access to the beach for this property. After it collapsed in 2020, the owners of the property contacted Chris Jensen, the code was town zoning officer at that time, to determine what they could do with the structure and what they were supposed to do. At that point, they were instructed that the building could be replaced, and as long as it followed the pre-existing non-conformity, a certificate of pre-existing non-conformity was provided. That's this document. If you scroll back to the top, basically saying that the structure could be replaced. Also in 2021, the property owners were going through a planning process to develop the site to replace both houses and the garage structure and develop the property they want. So we started that process in 2021, making our first application to the planning board in 2022. Had they known they'd have to replace that boathouse structure at the time or within a certain time frame of the pre-existing nonconformity being presented, they would have pulled a permit and done so at that time. However, they were instructed by the zoning officer that the pre-existing nonconformity that was gone in the town's file allows them to replace that structure at any given time. So going through the planning process to make sure that they get the houses that they would like on the property, both of them were torn down, both of them are currently being rebuilt, and basically establish the property how they want it before they go through and replace a boathouse structure, right? So that the most integral part, the most important part of the property is the houses and then the boathouse structure. So we finally got our planning board approval in 2024, 2.5 years after we first submission, and we began a construction in 2025. When construction started, we started to address the boathouse, thinking that we were able to replace the boathouse with our pre-existing nonconformity. At that point, in November of 2025, we just started discussions with the code enforcement officer, Mr. Murphy, about replacement of the boathouse. There was some informal determinations, emails back and forth, very good conversations back and forth about allowing that structure to be replaced. And it was told to us that the structure cannot be replaced due to a section of the zone UDML code. And I'll let Mike explain that in a little bit. We're asking this board for determination back to the code enforcement officer, which would allow the replacement of the pre-existing non-conforming structure. And do you want to pull up that lakeside picture?
Yeah, can we go to that? You want one from 21?
Yeah.
Scroll down and stuff. Go to one. There you go.
So there's the structure of it in 21. That was right after the pier failure. This boathouse structure is an integral part to access to the lake from that house above. It did have a flat roof on it. The roof did have a deck on top of it also with a railing. The boat's still in there, still in use. The boathouse structure is still in use.
Going about.
It's probably keeping the boat afloat.
Is there any questions from the board at this point?
That is a steep slope, I assume.
That is a steep slope.
Could, I don't suppose, is that the full picture? I'm just wondering, I'm looking at the total access of this property to the lake.
Yeah,
And it's pretty much like that all the way down
that's correct.
to the property. Okay,
Yep.
okay, yes.
It's approximately, just off the top of my head, it's about a 35 foot drop from the lake from the top of the bank to the lake.
Is this boathouse affiliated? I mean, it's a subject, this was originally a multi-parcel or
It's
but bigger
Yep.
piece that was subdivided into 3 or 4.
It was never subdivided. It was always 3 lots.
Oh,
And it's always been 3 lots. And we did reconfigure parts of the 50-51 lot, which is not to the north, so that they could have a garage building with associated with that right there.
Okay.
So that one of the
is
problems,
this communal boathouse or
it'll be
affiliated with one?
it'll be affiliated with 50-57. Yep. The issue with it is that the 50-57 lot itself does not have enough frontage for a boathouse. So and that's hence why it's pre-existing non-conforming.
That's where I was wondering.
There is a boathouse about maybe the second or third one to the north. It does have a flat roof. I mean,
It is the neighboring, it's this parcel right here. And it is owned by the same property owner.
so this one would look like that, pretty much.
Yes, similar to, yes. And this is part of our planning for the whole property. And I'm not saying anything that we are discussing the possible removal of the 50-51 because it's not in an ideal situation for the architecture of that structure. And just basically having a dock there. However, that all depends on how the waterfront's gonna shape up for this.
Chris, under the docking and mooring law, which is the most ridiculous bunch of BS in the world. What would they be allowed to do with this as it exists?
As it exists.
I
This
mean,
morning?
I'm saying if there was no boathouse there and they wanted to put a permanent dock in a boathouse,
They could rent it. Yeah, well, I know.
Correct.
because the
They
lot
could
is
get
too
it, they could have
small.
a dock.
Less than
So-
200 feet.
UDML has what's called dock allocation. That is based off of the total linear feet of shoal. Brendan, how many linear feet?
Uh,
I think it's one
I could-
I want to say.
Yeah, I could pull it up here.
So it's based off of a term.
Oh, you're saying the boathouse law.
Yes.
The boathouse is 200 minimum.
No, sorry,
Well,
what they
it's
have.
200 minimum, there isn't 200.
That's
So
correct.
they can't
Okay.
build a boat.
So what they would be,
And that's throughout the whole town.
Anybody who doesn't have at least 200 feet can't build a boat.
Really? That doesn't exist on Fall Rock or Poplar or Sandy Beach?
Does exist on those streets because they are located
already
in the
there.
town of
Well,
Canandaigua
of course.
and on Canandaigua Lake.
Of course, those are all 200 foot of frontage.
Yeah, everyone knows that they all have 200 feet of frontage, but what they are is built. It's, built before 1992 when the
Yeah.
DML was adopted.
And most of those aren't boat houses, I think, they're boat stations.
there's
Right.
a boathouse.
Okay, a boat station could be built.
Correct.
Here.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Now,
That's
the
our
other,
difference, okay.
correct. The other thing that they could have, besides a permanent dock with a number of slips that we can find out, but is because they're on a steep slope parcel, UDML does identify that there are materials that people like to have within the lake, kayaks, tubes, life jackets. So they are allowed to have a storage structure
Okay.
at a maximum square feet that I'm honestly looking for right now. But it is not a boathouse. It's more or less a shed.
Okay.
Well, some of the houses around the east side are very substantial.
Can a boat station have a second floor roof or the roof there?
They can bounce. The difference between a boathouse and a boat station is a boathouse has sides.
Right, it's a
boat
house for a
station
boat.
is just pillars with.
There,
Interesting.
so the main difference when you have a steep slope is you have a larger, you can have a larger accessory building.
So you're allowed, if you do not have steep slopes, you're not allowed to have an accessory structure as we would commonly say with a shed.
On the,
On the lake.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the lake side.
Also, steep slopes allows, there's an increase in certain square footage of dock area you can have.
Okay.
So,
that may have more.
Mm.
I'm just trying to understand that for the applicant, what options are there if this termination goes the way it is, and it has been vague, this.
Do you want me to touch on what we've talked about?
yeah, I'll let Mike talk about what he's.
So, Brendan and I, we work together a lot, so we've had a lot of conversations on this. There's really two pathways in order to get this. Ultimately, what we discussed was the two pathways are not ideal because it would leave with only one boathouse. Because the two lots, there is a term within UDML called dock consolidation. What that means is this is a perfect example of why that exists. Two parcels want to consolidate their total allowed square footage of docks to build a larger dock. Or to have a boathouse if you cannot have one. That could be done, especially because these parcels are under the same ownership. But ultimately, instead of having two boathouses, as is requested, they would have one. And they would not have a deck on top of this one.
Okay, and that was, what was it, 50-51, or what
Yeah, 50-51 is the
Would have been-
northern lot.
would have been, would be the one that you would remove, or?
And I think, one of the things that maybe we should to bring up the importance of it is that rooftop deck. Being that it's steep slope, they use the rooftop deck for space, for and join the lake. But also biggest thing is it's integral to the access to the lake. That stair comes down from the house, lands on top of the building, has a landing, and then goes back down from there. And they want to rebuild the stairs where they are now to land on top of the boathouse.
One important item about UDML is that the property owners, while they have what's called water rights, the
Right.
land is ultimately the water. UDML was an agreement amongst the 6 municipalities that have shoreline on Canada and the lake on permitting of their structures. With the sense that these structures are only for navigational purposes. As in, they are to allow people to navigate from land out further in the water. That is why larger sheds aren't allowed, that's why decks aren't allowed, that's why a lot of that isn't allowed, is because from a New York State standpoint, the law's purpose is for the navigational use of Canada from adjoining parcels.
So the UDML, that is the code that we're talking about with the boat station, nothing on the roof.
The other,
And when did that take place? When did they update the code on that?
the last time UDML was adopted or amended was 1992. The original law, I want to say, dates back to that was just as those samples that. I want to say the original law was 70s, if I'm, but no, I'm sorry.
Really long time ago.
Guess they just got a few changes.
I just wanted to mention a few things. So I think you've heard a similar application back in May of 2025 for Tishner Point with a boathouse. It wasn't the same set of facts, but at that time, they also were doing a non-conforming boathouse there that was touching water. So it was a high water mark. And they had gone in to ask for approval of continuing to build the boathouse in its exact same spot like we're asking. We're not asking for any additional size or any different look. We're looking to literally build the same one in order for it to, right now, we, it's not, obviously, as you saw from the pictures, it's not something that's safe. So we can't just continue to use it the way it is. We have to get the boat out. And so we're looking to rebuild exactly what was there, for today. But I wanted to just bring your attention to the 4351 Tishner Point Drive, which is the Sands application, which was, again, like I said, very similar to requesting for the pre-existing non-conforming aspect of the boathouse.
If I recall, I think that one also had a pre-existing non-conforming certificate under the zoning code, not
Right.
the UDML, but the
That was a little
Officer
different,
Jensen issue.
Right.
It was a little different, but I think that the facts are similar in that
Right.
it was a bigger project, there's Tishner Point, and they focused on one aspect of construction over the boathouse because they were under the impression they had all the time in the world on the boat.
Which is kind of similar.
Which is really the same thing that happened here.
Right.
And that's not, that's not a legally binding.
Right.
Code enforcement officer can't legally bind the town to a new code, but.
Right. Well, but
That's
their
factor in.
their situation is even more unique in the sense that the area and mine.
Yeah. One differing opinion between the two is that this is a boathouse, whereas that case was heard as
Just
an
the-
accessory structure.
Right.
So the other thing is that structure was split predominantly above mean high water, making it under the jurisdiction
Mhm.
of zoning, whereas this is predominantly, if not 100%, past mean high water below, making it
Right.
underneath the usual body.
Good point. Okay.
However, I respectfully say that being that it touched the water, it's considered under the UDML because of the fact that it was the mean high water. So I think it is more similar in that sense to be looked at as similar facts. And again, we have the certificate from Chris Jensen, which we completely relied on, thinking, okay, we're going in for our application. We had absolutely no idea it was going to take 2.5 years to get our approvals. And or we would have done something with the boat, but I mean, I don't know if you have copies, but I'd be happy to give you a copy of the certificates. There is absolutely no deadline in it. He's signed it. And he's also attached pictures. He was an employee of the town of Canandaigua. And, you know, we detrimentally relied on this. In order to continue our project, we would have probably changed the sequential construction of our project had we known that this would have needed to be done more urgently. But we were in the process with town of Canandaigua with our application that included the site plan, included the boathouse. And I believe one of the meetings we had, which is on record, we said we weren't going to address the boathouse at this time, and everyone was understanding that because we were trying to understand the entire project as a whole because of the complexity of it when we met with the board for that, the planning board. So there were several instances in the times that we've met with the planning board that the boathouse was discussed and understood that we were doing it as part of the entire project. So when we went in to say, okay, we're ready to do this, and to our surprise as the owners, when Mr. Murphy had the conversation with Brennan and Brennan had to make that difficult call to us, you know, we didn't understand. So, and then looking at the Tishner Point Drive application that came in, it's so similar as far as we see as far as the facts.
Just one item, if I may, for the board. Tishner Point Drive was not a boathouse. Tishner Point Drive, or the definition of boathouse, also. Underneath the Uniform Document Mooring Law, boathouse is a permanent enclosed structure that provides direct water or rail access for boats and is fully or partially supported or constructed below the mean high water mark. This one, and there's more after that related to a permanent roof and closed sides, no utility service.
So the only thing I'd like to point out is that Tishner Point does have docks attached to that boathouse structure that extend into the water.
Correct.
And
the structure itself does not support that navigation distance.
But you could park a boat at the dock.
At the dock, correct.
So it's
Which is-
connected with the house.
Well, it's not structurally attached to the boathouse.
They have a piling plan that does show that.
This isn't a debate over the nuances of the code. Mike is right, it's two different codes. One, the Tishner Point was under the zoning code. And the current application is under the UDML, that's just the way it is. There are factors that make them very similar, they're under different codes.
In retrospect, is this a timing problem with the pre-existing non-conforming? That's strictly what this is.
They could have, my understanding is they could have done exactly what they wanted to do had they done it within 18 months of Mr. Jensen's determination, which would have brought them to middle 2023. Had they done that, it would be built by now, and we'd never know. But the UDML says differently than the zoning code. If you get a
So you've scratched that, you've that portion, I mean, now it would be as if they were trying to build a new boat station.
both house, which they're not allowed to do.
Right.
However, excuse me, however, in 2023, we were in front of the board for this entire project that showed this boathouse and its situation. And I know that the town of Canandaigua, because we had received calls with complaints because of the condition of it. And when we worked with the town, that was something that was said was, we understand it's part of your project. You know, we know you'll get to it. So that was always our reliance, was on town of Canandaigua and the employees we spoke with, that in order to do this boathouse, we needed to understand our entire project first, because we needed to understand, one, what we were building, and two, more importantly, if we were going to even get the project approved. So we would have gone ahead and built the boathouse had we known. However, our several conversations with the town of Canandaigua and several of its employees, including a certificate signed by a town of Canandaigua employee, indicated that we did not have a time frame, or we would have built this. But we wanted, obviously, it was kind of like putting the cart before the horse. We needed to know the style of the home we were going to build before we could determine what type of style the boathouse would be, to match the home. And then again, if we were even going to get the project approved. So there were a lot of steps that needed to be taken. However, if there was some conversation differently with the town of Canandaigua employees, we would have done something differently with the planning board not indicating that and specifically the certificate from the department head, Chris Jensen at the time.
Mike, is there anything from any of those planning board meetings that will be helpful in the discussion?
Nothing that would supersede.
So, and that's a good point. I was there, I remember these conversations, to the best of my recollection. Anastasia is correct, this was on the plans, there was discussion about the boathouse. You know, the town supervisor could have gotten up and sworn on a stack of Bibles that they could build it for all eternity. It doesn't change the code. So, well, but that's not what they're here for. They're not here for a variance, they're here for an interpretation. You know, based on the totality of the circumstances. Which is the same thing that the, you know, the applicant in the ADD case, the Sands case was doing. There was remotes. Now that doesn't make it so that they're legally necessarily under code entitled, but they are, you know, that is a factor, something that, you know, the town can do.
But we're just supposed to interpret the determination, not necessarily if there was wrongdoing. I mean, what is,
Correct.
I mean, what is there?
Yep, that's correct.
If the boathouse had stood all this time and with the rain that we've had, it just collapsed. If they wanted to go to the town and rebuild it, they would be allowed to do it because it was a pre-existing non-conforming condition, correct?
Mhm.
And further, the structure is still there and has been collapsed for how long?
3 years ago.
I mean, it hasn't been removed if.
Right, I mean, it's still there, right?
Still there, right? It's
It is
still
still
there,
there.
both still under.
Well, and that was kind of the Tishner thing too, was that
Yeah.
it was, they tore everything off because it fell down or something.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. Well, you can see.
So
That's definitely.
Chris, let's say we uphold Mike's interpretation.
Yes.
Yeah. Then that means that they would be unable to,
Interestingly, no.
no.
They could apply for a building permit and rebuild it, not demolish and not repair. They can repair it piece by piece until it is what they want it to be. It's just, what it was.
I mean, like putting.
They can't
stuff-
bulldoze it and start
Right.
fresh on it.
Right. Well, we get that, that was the Tishner thing too, right? Because I mean, didn't they tear it off? Well, because it was
Well,
it
they
was
did,
there and it fell, it was like falling apart and
that was
they
what
took it
Tishner
off.
did,
Yeah.
they didn't
Right.
dig the foundations out.
Well,
They-
if this had not come to light, they would be in the position when Chris approved this. They would, you're saying that they would still have had to go ahead and remodel this in the.
On the same.
In the format that you're just described. Is that the
Right.
case? Or they couldn't have torn it down? How many times have we
No.
done a?
So they have 18 months from Chris's decision, from Chris's certificate, to tear it down and rebuild. That was the.
I disagree with your statement.
Well,
I disagree.
It would
with
be
that.
18 months from the time it was damaged, right? The
When was it
certificate
damaged?
was, I mean, the certificate was written in 21, but yes.
when was
Okay.
the damage?
I back up. So 2021, he's when he wrote the pre-existing non-conformity. So,
But it was damaged at that.
yeah.
If they,
Oh, I see.
I'm just trying to come up with, if,
Right.
if the reality is that if they came to you today with this in the condition that it is right now, forget about what's happened in the past and applied for a permit to repair this structure, the answer would be under no certain, there would be no pre-existing non-conforming condition stipulation at all?
Wait, if it tore, if it,
I'm saying.
If they came to repair it, right?
If they came in the present right now, that, and I'm just saying,
they don't need any of your permission
Right,
to repair it.
right.
and they still don't.
Correct.
Okay.
What we're asking you is to rebuild it instead of repair it. But it's a little bit of a semantics, but repair would be, we'd have to take it board by board rather than demoing it and just putting it up. That's the only difference. So what we're asking you to do is if we can put it in its pre-existing condition, relying on the certificate is what we are relying on, and build it again.
Well, I understand
Exact
that.
same
Well,
one, yeah.
we've allowed a number of people with pre-existing non-conforming, especially with setbacks. Many
True.
different places that have gone to full,
But rebuild, but not redo the base, right? I mean, we've always
put
left,
foundations in.
we've always left
There
the,
was, you know,
it seems like, right? I mean, that's.
yeah, remember the sheep building on Fallbrook Park? They put a whole new foundation.
Well, yeah, that was.
That was in tough shape.
Yeah,
I could think of several.
yeah, I'm
applications
trying to
that-
remember.
I'm just trying to understand what's the difference here
Right.
between,
I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
this is also super majority, correct?
Yeah, I think so, and we have
Why?
No.
It's not in the,
It
an
didn't go-
interpretation.
Interpretation doesn't go before the.
okay.
Okay. Okay,
3 out of the 4 we had a vote in favor.
what were you gonna say?
I was just, just trying to get what's gonna happen if we go either way. I guess that's what I'm trying to be sure I understand. We vote to uphold Mike's interpretation.
They can still fix it.
They can still fix it. What's it?
That's- So just to go over my interpretation real quick, because I think it'll provide some context to this. And this was sent February 26th, 2026 at 4:16. This is where I explicitly stated I did not know that the certificate of pre-existing non-conformity existed. Oh, got it.
Right at the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry, right at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
One.
Ultimately.
Alright, so chapter 92-21A states, upon the effective date of this chapter, an existing non-conforming building, structure, or use shall not be enlarged or expanded. A non-conforming building and or structure damaged 50% of its greater of its existing value at the time of the loss or damage shall only be allowed to be reconstructed if said building and or structure is in conformance with this chapter and such reconstruction is completed within 18 months of such happening. My interpretation of this section is that from the date of damage, the property owner has 18 months to complete reconstruction of the structure. I stand by my original determination that the 18-month timeline has expired and is further documented by the certificate of pre-existing non-conformity. And that's when I actually recommend that we go for an interpretation, because that's the process laid for instances like this, where there's disagreement. So,
Well, I appreciate, Mr. Murphy, your interpretation. However, the certificate of pre-existing nonconformity from Chris did not have a date in it. And if we can pull up the certificate, that would be great. So this is the certificate. You can continue to scroll down. So it's signed and it just says a pre-existing nonconformity may be repaired, replaced, or in other ways restored to its previous condition if damaged by fire, extreme weather, or other unintentional cause, unless such restoration will create a threat to the public health, safety, and or welfare. And above that, it says the certificate of nonconformity only verifies that the structure use existing on the state as described below does not comply with the existing regulations set forth in chapter 96 of the town code. And he dates it August 31st, 2021, and it's signed by Chris Jensen, the code enforcement zoning officer. And it does not have a time frame in there. So of course, this is what's being used with our entire project in mind, which is a significant project of 2 homes and a garage being built of over 7,000 square feet.
I think there are a couple other factors which may have confused things here. Number one, COVID.
When did Chris leave?
Pardon me?
When did Chris leave?
21, 22. So it's been a few years.
I believe it's 43.
Yeah, I believe you left in 23.
23, okay.
That was one thing, and then the other thing,
All this.
Chris left, there were a lot of other changes in our department.
Yeah.
There was a lot of confusion there for a while, I think they were all very.
Yeah, we've had. Have it happen before, right? I don't know. It doesn't seem.
Any more you want?
Well, I guess the only other thing to me is that in view of the 18-month situation and this has dropped since 21, are they even allowed to rebuild it under the, or not? Or is this,
If they repair it, they're allowed to rebuild
okay.
today.
But and had they done this within 18 months of when it first collapsed, they would be able to.
Torn it down and rebuild.
So there's the difference.
So-
But,
How much of the old one do you have to use to repair it?
What's considered a repair and what's a.
right,
what's a
what's a
repair?
rebuild?
I mean, you're gonna have to take the old structure out anyway.
So a repair, the definition of repair is to.
Oh, good luck.
No, right.
No, but I mean, one's done with the bulldozer and one's not done with the
Right.
bulldozer. It's in broad strokes.
Right.
Would it be a little more costly to the property owner? Yes, to repair and to rebuild.
And the issue with the repair is that you're capped at 50% of that structure's value. So each repair would have to be less than that 50%. Now, there's nothing saying that a repair can take 4 different repairs, 4 different repair permits. If you-
So yeah, 'cause they-
Mike is
then they'd have
prepared
to
to
get
be
a permit.
flexible on that.
So they'd have to come in and get a permit to,
And we do that with floodplain development
right?
all the time, because floodplain is under the same rules, the 50%.
So by having to do the repair, there's a couple things. So if the damage had been today and we went in for a permit for to rebuild it as a non-conforming use, the exact same thing, we would get it. It's the 18 months that is the difference here. And then secondly, on the repair issue, so we're asking for approval and to interpret this as a non-conforming use and allow us to do this. If we were to do this, that would be one permit and that cost for that permit, which we've allocated. If we were to do the repair, now we've got to go in. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I don't know. Each time there's a cost for that. So again, we're going to be incurring costs that we were not planning to incur because we relied on a certificate of nonconformity. So now we've got additional costs that we're incurring and expending with architect, engineer, contractor, permitting office applications. So we're going to be incurring costs that are going to accomplish the same thing as doing it once. It's
In support of that, I think you can all understand that to completely remove the structure and build a new one is significantly cheaper than trying to piece repair a structure. And I have pictures of Tisha Point if you care to see them at all. So the house at Tisha Point.
Sure.
This is, I mean, I don't know if it helps you. This is the boathouse there that was
Right.
reconstructed. And this is what they look like.
Okay, anything more in the David?
I guess the only other thing is if this were to happen on another property, and this was handed out, seems like this would have been really easy, to add the 18-month onto that, ruling. What I'm saying that this is the state, the certificate of non-conformity. Well, wouldn't it have been easy to add that this expires within 18 months?
Well, no, because, I mean, it references, I mean, it's not the code enforcement officer's responsibility necessarily. The code says it, code is referenced right there. Are most people gonna go look up the code or rely on, what they heard? They're gonna rely on what they heard, but It's not the code enforcement, it's not, there's no legal obligation.
I'm not talking about legal obligation, I'm just talking
It
about,
does reference the section where that does have the timeline in it and, you know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Those are, you know, just standard things I think most people would just go along with.
Right.
Well,
Well,
when a zoning officer signs a certificate and gives it to us, I would expect that the town, it's on Town of Canandaigua letterhead, signed by Chris Jensen as the code enforcement zoning officer, dated, has no time frame in it. I'm expecting that what he's put in here, we can rely upon. My job isn't to go look up something that this person has been given the job as an officer, zoning officer of the Town of Canandaigua, as an employee. We relied on this. So if I have to go look up everything someone hands me, I mean, that doesn't make any sense either. I'm expecting that this letter is something we would rely on, that this person was in a capacity to sign it on behalf of the Town of Canandaigua and has the knowledge and to put in the appropriate.
This is all, I mean,
Language.
this is what we have to consider and decide on. Anyone else have any comments or corrections?
any comments?
I'd like to just,
Make a comment, please.
Yep.
We'll have you guys take a seat first.
I don't know how relevant this is.
Please identify yourself.
My name is John Henderson. And, we have a property, in the neighborhood. I don't know how relevant this is to the equation, but the collapse of the boathouse and its non-use being dated 2021 is not a accurate representation of the status of that boathouse before it technically tipped over. The property was condemned long before that. And this boathouse has been in non-functioning condition significantly before 2021. 2021 just happens to be the date that it collapsed. That's just a statement of fact, that's all. I don't know how that enters.
Okay. There are no more comments or questions. Comfortable with closing the public hearing? We will close the public hearing. We have 62 days to make a decision. See if we get to it tonight. I hope we will. You're welcome to stay around for discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next. That's it for the public hearings for me. So let's go back to the Butler Road.
We're all like, I don't know, I mean, I guess, it is a challenging property, but I don't know about, I mean, that is it's a pretty big problem.
John, you wanna,
Yeah.
John's gonna come.
Here, come on around, John.
Come on over. It is a pretty big garage, I don't know, I mean, I know everybody's challenged with. Yeah.
Oh, hang on, actually, if we're gonna do this, Dave, can you move the tables? I understand. Go into back to the crowd. They're entitled to hear everything.
Oh, come on in.
which way you want me to?
How about if I just switch?
How about you just
How about if I
walk
just switch nameplates?
There you go, come on in, yeah, there you go.
That way we're not.
Pow wow. Chris, what are you doing over there?
Just pause it. I guess next
Yeah.
time.
The other thing too, I mean, it's running down towards the river, right?
Pardon me?
It's running in towards the river. It's downhill.
Yeah.
Yes.
All water is coming to the lake, so.
Yeah. So would that be an EPA issue or?
No, because it's not.
Yeah.
What they're proposing is not closer to 100.
It's on the other side.
Yeah. The river or the streams on the other side of the house from where they're planning on adding on.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what, the 3.5 car garage or something. I figure, is it about 3.5, 4 car garage?
Over existing too.
Okay. But where else would, I mean, They've got the shed, what about that shed? You can't enlarge either, huh?
I don't know the sizes.
It's a difficult lot. I mean.
It
this what
is.
happens when you have a lot that looks like this and then it slopes like that.
You know,
I don't think it's out of the realm of the character of the neighborhoods at all, but it is a big garage and. But, I mean, even if you shrunk it, if you made it smaller,
Yeah,
it'd be
it's
very
hard,
difficult
I-
to not have a part of it get past the variance issue. If you don't have enough room to go in the front, then you're only able to be on the side.
Room to go in front, isn't it?
If you pushed it forward,
Yeah, sides of it, mine is over, way over it.
well, that's why I was saying like turn it, like do it like an L, but I don't know if that would work. You're still gonna have to get a variance.
The question here, could you bring it out further?
Yeah, cause you know how like some people
Well,
close
what's
their
the
garage,
setback
like
variance?
they'll turn, they'll have it like an L shape
Yeah.
almost.
I mean, if you, to push it out far enough, granted, it doesn't have to be 40 feet, but you probably would want to have it attached. So.
Oh, yeah, you could do a separate. That's an idea.
Could reduce the variance request by 90%, so. Hold it.
Pull it back over or pull it forward.
We didn't have it fully to 23 feet wide.
Yeah, cause the lot's plenty big enough.
If you shrunk the garage, it still wouldn't fit on the variance, so they probably do it over these. And that's the problem. Didn't reduce the.
We seek a little outer place.
Yeah.
If you shrunk the garage, it still wouldn't come inside the variance, so.
It would be tough to shrink the garage and that's without bringing it forward.
Yeah, you have to bring it forward.
And then you get into minimizing variance versus eliminating a variance.
Well, so that's another full, it's another full car, 2-car, you said? How many? What
2-car
is
garage,
square
20
foot?
by 20, right, Mike?
Yeah, 2-car garage
23 by
between
40.
20 and 24. Never know.
I don't think if it was shrunk, it would affect, it would enhance, the value for the complaining neighbors. I think it's,
Right.
let us look at it, and it's not, I don't think it's an overwhelming amount of ecological problem.
I don't think it's an ecological problem. I guess, could we condition, if we were to approve it, could we condition it on plantings being done across the back there to minimize its
To
visual effect for neighbors?
keep it more green back
You know,
there,
put some evergreens of some sort across the back.
maybe.
I don't think that might be a good idea.
I mean, it would help from the neighbor's standpoint, it might help from where it is now.
Right. What do you guys think?
That's all the questions.
Sure. Shall the rear setback variance request of 18 feet be granted? Dave,
Yes,
Kelly,
Yes.
Chip,
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay,
Yes, I would recommend that we do some pretty detailed findings.
Yeah.
yeah.
And conditions.
With a condition and condition.
Yeah,
With a condition. The benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the neighborhood based on information given to us tonight and previously sent in. The variance is, I would say a moderate variance, it's not a large variance. Topography of the and shape of the lot restricts a lot of what they can do.
the layout of the septic and, or not the septic, the electric.
Utilities coming.
Utilities. Going in.
Presence of the stream on the other side of the house would restrict what could be done there even more. I think I don't think it would really change the character of the neighborhood.
No.
Looking around there, there's a number of other things that are pretty close to the lines. I would definitely condition it on their planting some visual screening.
From the neighbors.
Evergreens.
Acceptable to the planning board chair.
Okay, that would be good, yeah.
And that condition shall run with the variance and run with the land, so that if they cut them down next year, the variance is no good.
Right.
And then they're the portion of the occupied land behind the setback would have to be torn down.
Okay. What he said.
Well, also, they're having extra storage space will actually improve some of the appearance of things, because trailers and mowers and things will not have to be stored outside.
And it should be started within a year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah,
And when did that start?
What?
When we added the stipulation
ago.
that we started?
it's been years.
Yeah, variances run with the land.
No, I understand,
No,
but
the
the
timeline.
project has to be begun within
12 months.
a year.
That started when I got a call
It's
from
been
Ashley
years.
Champion at Nixon Peabody. And I
Yeah.
said, no, you have to do this within a year. And she said, no, you just keep writing it in. And that's when I started to say.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, some
I
towns
remember you
have a
coming
sunset
in.
provision in their town code, all variances will expire. We don't. So
Right.
this board followed my advice to include that.
Was it a year?
It's so that
You would add a
it's
condition.
12 months usually for the zoning board determination, but that 18 months
I
will
forget
was
those
just for
two
the
conditions.
uniform
Anyways, put them in.
docking and mooring.
We should actually add that. What rules of procedure. Okay. Unless otherwise. Yeah.
Right.
Stated. That's sort of how we're up, it's not, it's operating, but.
Okay, I think that's it.
We're good with that? Okay, next.
All right. Well, no, I can decide to make. And reminder.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way.
Okay.
Because I'm not
Moving on,
sure.
Yeah, moving on now to the 50-57. 16.
I'm very confused.
Having been down there today, don't count on going down and getting a good look.
No, I know, right.
I almost was still there.
Oh, my goodness.
Is your
Shoot
boat
down
in
the
yet?
lake. Perfect.
By that time, we could have a boat and go out and look.
Well, that, how do you think that picture got taken?
Yeah.
All right, let us know when that meeting is, we'll be there.
It's a tough one, I mean, I would agree that we can wait. But I guess, one of the things I think about is how sort of the lack of a definite time interval with that first non-conformity should affect things. And then if it was all, if that boathouse was all part of what was in the planning board. Then I'll have to look back at the planning.
Yeah,
board.
that would be good. That would be good.
Well, I mean, there's no question there was an awful lot of disarray there. With
Yeah.
that
Oh,
whole
yeah,
deal, and I just, I mean, my issue was I obviously, I hate ruling against, I thought I would never rule against an interpretation from a zoning officer, because we're done.
Obviously, you never made that value apply the facts of each case.
Clearly.
Right?
Oh, well, that's
Because
fine,
now
but
they-
I'm saying I said that.
Yeah.
But my feeling is right now, frankly, I mean, I kind of feel I almost have to, because I don't disagree with his ruling, but I think this is a bureaucracy mess.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
And-
kind of,
And I don't think that's certainly not Mike's fault, and I don't know that it's the applicant's fault.
Well, that's kind of how.
You wanna vote, fine?
No,
Well, my concern is if we don't, I mean, to bring Sharon and Jason in and to try to explain this whole thing again. It's up to you. You're the head of the board and I'll follow whatever you want to do.
Kelly, you want time?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. Does it, can we just say, you know, whenever, or I mean, like, or
It's
do we have
62 days.
do we have
Yeah,
to
we got
wait till
62
next
days.
month for the meeting?
So I would like to get it done.
Okay. I mean, I will vote if you guys want, but.
I feel like it's kicking the can down the road.
Do you?
You know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm good with. Let me,
I guess. I don't have any reason to think that I couldn't vote.
all right,
One of you can say, call the question. Kelly can abstain or ask for more time. If she's gonna vote on that, so.
yeah, but you need my vote, I think, don't you?
No.
No, actually, you
Yeah,
don't.
really.
All right, let's. Okay.
Question. Sure.
Shall the town code enforcement officer's determination of a pre-existing non-conforming status of a boathouse at 5057 County Road 16 be upheld? Dave,
No.
Kelly,
I'm gonna say no.
Chip,
No.
John?
No.
The reasons were discussed on that, there's an interpretation.
For the reasons that I've discussed,
Reasons as it's.
okay. You okay? Chris?
Good evening.
Okay, any requests for rehearing?
We need to, I think we should, sorry. Write that in somewhere like that we know, you know, that, because we never knew that about the 18 months for all the years.
I think, we should make a recommendation. A non-conforming, that probably ought to
I
have
don't
a
recall it.
expiration date.
Yes.
And that,
Be for sure, right? I mean,
if that were to be non-conformity statements again, would there be?
you just push it to next month.
expiration dates?
I was just wondering,
No, we don't do that right now.
I mean, I get that it doesn't change the law, but we'll never figure out where that kind of went wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
other
No
than.
referrals from the town
them
board.
saying anything about-
No.
We were kind of going through some transition.
Town manager, the ordinance committee. Okay, we have minutes of the last meeting. So anybody change that?
Right, the zoning law.
Want to go ahead and move?
But we never knew that.
I move to approve the meetings of the last, or the minutes of the last meeting.
No. So I abstain.
There's a second, I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Abstaining?
Abstain. I didn't read them, so I can't say.
Okay, they're bad. There are a couple things. We're really getting real efficient now. We've got a agenda already for next month.
These things are good.
He's got, don't look at me. I don't do that. That's like the Jim.
There you go. I meant Kevin, Jay, and Gene.
Okay, anything else anybody has? Motion. Adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Sure.
All in favor?
Usually it's me yelling at that.
Oh.